By invocation by Commissioner Dries. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Fathers, we come to you as the Finney County Commission. We ask your guidance amongst this meeting for the decisions we make today. We also want to thank you, Lord, for our 140th anniversary of our Finney County and all the generations and leaders and folks that made our county the wonderful county that it is. Lastly, Lord, we ask your helping hand to all the families who lost loved ones in the devastation from the hurricane. Be with those folks and help guide them through it. And while we're on the subject of weather, Lord, we really, really could use a good rain in this whole region. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. This morning is the opportunity for your chair to make a public apology and to also acknowledge a worker, an employee who has worked for the county for over 35 years. Bring your employee with you if you would, Kaylee. Gentlemen, apologize to both of you for not making the retirement party. But I want to tell you a little bit about Arley's employee that has retired. His name is Terrence T.K. Winter. He was hired on June 19th of 1989 as a motor grader operator. He was promoted in 2007 to construction equipment operator, and in 2012 to equipment operator 3, a position that he maintained for 12 more years until his retirement on September 26, 2024. A celebration was made in which the chair did not attend, and for that, TK, I apologize.
I understand.
Your advisor and staff advised that you have bladed almost every mile of Finney County. That's 988 miles. Is that true?
Yes, way too many.
Not only is TK an accomplished operator, but more importantly, has taught a lot of folks about the art of running heavy equipment and doing so safely and in an environment where safety is first. We all are asking you, if your schedule allows, to help come back and help train new recruits in this important position with Finney County. So to TK Winter for 35 years of service, thank you.
Thank you.
TK's done lots of miles in our area out there in the Sandhills, and so I see him frequently in his machine. I'm going to miss him.
And, Mr. Chairman, if I could add, since I was there at the thing, the one thing that I did say, and I want to repeat here, I get a lot of road calls, but the ones that are the ones that I appreciate are the ones that call and say, TK just bladed our road and it was great. So I appreciate you giving me those good road calls. Thank you.
Anything else, commissioners?
Just ditto to all that, TK. You're the best out there, and we appreciate all you've done.
And now you can hire TK if you want to run a lawnmower. He's gonna continue in that business. Does a good job at that too.
Well, we're trying to get him to come back and help consult to teach new operators, so let's not run him off on the lawnmower, yeah. We might need your help, TK. All right, very good. The other chair comments that I have is that I'm going to ask the clerk, when does advanced voting start for the November election?
October 21st.
October 21. All right, very good. And where is that at?
That'll be here in the Finney County Administration Building, weekdays, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. I do want to note that we have an upcoming deadline to register to vote.
Would you please proceed?
And that is October 15th is the deadline to register to vote. And I'd just like to remind everyone that if somebody is 17 and will be 18 on or before Election Day, they can go ahead and register now. And then we'll get them activated just in time for the election. So.
The chair comment is to encourage everyone to vote, and you can't vote unless you register, so get yourself down here and get through the clerk's office. It takes less than 5 minutes, and it's an important part in our democratic process, and our own commissioner is on the ballot, and so we want everyone to vote. He's running unopposed. That's the only reason why I said that. We have a consent agenda, commissioners.
I move we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second. Go ahead and give it to Larry.
Been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. This morning, we have an opportunity for public comment. Is there anyone here to address the commission on public comment? Hearing none, we'll move straight into the business agenda. The first item of business is a presentation by the 4-H and consideration of a declaration that I would like to read if the commission would so allow. We'll first hear from Terry.
Good morning. Thank you for having us today. My name is Tori Mock. I am a 4-H agent for West Plains District, and my office is based out of Finney County. We have close to 150 4-Hers in Finney County, and we start our year October 1st. So we are working on enrollment and getting our programming up and running for the 24-25 year. I also brought with me today 2 of our 4-Hers. I have Grady Gleason. He's a member of the Happy Hustlers and has 2 more years left of 4-H. And then I have Cassidy Wagner, who's a member of Wide Awake, and this is her 2nd year in 4-H. So they've got a couple things to say to y'all.
Good
morning.
A mic big enough for a kid like you. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. My name is Grady Gleason, and I am the proud 3rd-generation member of the Happy Hustlers 4-H Club. I've been in 4-H for 10 years now, and as Tori said, I've got 2 more years left. I'm involved in many projects, including food and nutrition, shopping and style, sheep, which is my favorite, community service, and leadership. I want to spend a minute on leadership. When Tori asked me to speak in front of you today, I immediately accepted. I'm extremely passionate about this program and want to be a strong advocate. Leadership is a fundamental skill that I have learned through this program and believe that it is a vital skill for all youth to have. When I began this journey at just 7 years old, I wondered whether I would be capable of sitting in front of the club as a club officer. As I stand in front of you today, I am the president of my 4-H club, the president of Finney County 4-H Ambassadors, as well as the president of Finney County 4-H Council. And in other activities, I'm an ambassador in Finney County Farm Bureau, as well as an officer for my Garden City FFA chapter. Approaching my final years in 4-H, I look to the future and how this program has set me up for success. 4-H has instilled a confidence in me, in which I am able to comfortably speak in front of you today. This program has given my family so much, and I want to give back. And I hope someday to see myself, possibly in these very seats, to further support the 4-H program. Until that day, I thank you for supporting this program that has provided for millions. And I invite you to the Finney County 4-H Foundation building on the Finney County Fairgrounds on Sunday, October 20th at 1 p.m. We will be celebrating 80 years of a club that I am the president of and that was started by my great-grandmother. You'll be able to speak with former members and alumni of the very club and program of Finney County. You'll be able to hear testimonials from others who have been positively impacted by this program just like me. Thank you again for your time and your support of this program. And God bless.
Thank you.
Well, I think the nutrition part has worked successfully, just looking at your results.
Yeah.
Hi, My name is Cassidy Wagner, and I am a member of the Wide Awake 4-H Club. I am 8 years old, and this is my first year in 4-H. This year, I am enrolled in 5 projects. My projects are communications, goats, horses, photography, and shopping and style. My favorite project is goats because it is fun taking care of them. My favorite thing about 4-H is working with my animals and spending time with my friends. 4-H has helped me learn responsibility because I have to wake up every single morning before school and feed them. This year, I won Reserve Champion in Supreme Showmanship and 5th overall Junior Showmanship at Kansas Junior Livestock Show. I am most excited for the next 4-H year because I get to see how I can get better with my animals.
Thank you. Can you take some questions or no? Keep the mic.
Okay, that's why they can all hear you.
What's your favorite goat? What's his or her name?
Her name is Belle
Why is she the favorite?
because she has fluffy hair.
Commissioners?
I just think it's great. Not, Mr. Chairman, not a question, but I compliment you very much, Cassidy, for getting started, and I compliment Grady on his the number of years that he's had. So I appreciate both of you being here today and what you've learned and what you're learning in 4-H. Thank you.
Thank you.
Tori, with your permission, I'd like to read this 4-H month proclamation and then ask the commissioners to move and approve for signature and making this proclamation. It reads as follows. National 4-H Month Proclamation from the Kansas State Research and Extension, West Plains District. Whereas 4-H is America's largest youth development organization supporting nearly 6 million youth across the country. And whereas 4-H has helped thousands of youth in West Plains Extension District, Finney County, to become confident, independent, resilient, and compassionate leaders. And whereas 4-H is delivered by Cooperation Extension, a community of more than 100 public universities across the nation that provides experiences where young people learn by doing through hands-on projects in the important areas of health, science, agriculture, and civic engagement. And whereas 4-H Week showcases the incredible ways that 4-H inspires kids to do and highlights the remarkable 4-H youth in West Plains Extension District, Finney County, who work each day to make a positive impact on those around them. And whereas 4-H's network of nearly 500,000 volunteers and 3,500 professionals provide caring and supportive mentoring to all 4-Hers, helping them to grow to be true leaders, entrepreneurs, and visionaries. Now, therefore, I, Jerry Schultz, Chair of the Board of County Commissioners of Finney County, Kansas, do hereby proclaim October 2024 as National 4-H Month throughout Finney County, Kansas, and encourage all of our citizens to recognize 4-H for the significant impact that they have made and continue to make by empowering youth with the skills they need for a lifetime of leadership. Is there a motion to approve that proclamation?
Chairman, so move.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the 4-H month proclamation. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I'll sign.
And while he's signing, Tori, thank you for what you do and helping the 4-H clubs and so forth.
Thank you very much. Could we?
All right. We got a good picture.
All of us?
All of us.
Where are we going for this picture?
Need help, or is it roll? Okay.
I didn't even burn myself.
Yeah, he does. Pretty good size for a high school kid.
The football coach and me wanted to talk about football, but yeah.
Yeah. No, it's not. No.
Boy, he'd make a perfect tight end.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Perfect anything. Good eyes.
And I can see why.
You need a motion to open the public hearing?
For,
I don't know yet. We'll get to that. Next on our business agenda is a hearing to amend the CDBG fund. We'll hear from Jenny Hamel. Good morning.
Good morning. As you know, in June of 2024, the Department of Commerce notified counties that they would be taking back the funds sitting at the local level that's the Community Development Block Grant funds. They were intended to be used in the community as revolving loans, but due to nationwide underutilization, the Commerce Department has chosen to discontinue these programs, and they will be serving existing loans at the state level. And during the 2024 budget process, it was not anticipated that we would need to utilize the full balance of this fund, so we did not set the level at high enough to expend the total funds. So in order to be compliant with state budget authority statutes, we need to amend this budget. There is no fiscal impact to this. It is just funds that were already existing there.
Questions for Jenny?
Which number are we returning? The 86,000, 94,000?
No, we returned almost $400,000. Yeah.
Those are funds that have already been allocated, correct? The 400.
No, they were sitting there not being used. Yeah, it was 300 and some thousand.
Jenny, we heard from a Matt, how do you ever,
Yeah.
the last name is, I don't want to mess it up, but anyway, he's Assistant Secretary of Quality Places, State of Kansas Department of Commerce. And he said evidently they're getting funds back from lots of counties. And one of their big pushes is for funds to go out to senior centers. So I thought maybe we should notify our local senior center. And I've got his business card with me. I'll give it to them and let them contact him. But they want to expend these funds, so.
Yeah, as far as I understand, they'll still continue the program. It will just be at a lower level, and we won't be servicing them locally.
Godiaz? Matt Godiaz. Thank you.
Well, to further speak on this issue, I talked to the lady presenter about this as well, and I appreciate Lana has talked at the state level on this issue. Great Plains Development gets about closer to 60% of their income comes off of working these particular grants. And it could be quite devastating to Great Plains Development. They're not exactly a profit-making business the way it is. So it'd be interesting in years to come what's going to happen, whether we're going to lose Great Plains Development, which handles another 13, 14 different sources of funds for incoming businesses. So this isn't good for Western Great Plains community development. So that's what it is.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I would move that we open a public hearing for this particular budget item to hear comments from the public.
Is there a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded to open public hearing to amend the 2024 CDBG fund budget. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. We'll now hear from the public. Anyone wish to address the commission with regard to the amendment to the department, to the CDBG fund budget as presented? Don't hear anyone or see anyone. Move to close the public hearing.
So move.
Is there, it's moved and seconded to close the public hearing. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Back in regular session. Is there a motion with regard to the amendment of the CDBG fund as presented?
With regret, I move that we approve this CDBG fund budget as presented.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on our agenda is the appointment of another board member for the CVB board. Good morning. Please tell the public who you are.
I am Roxanne Lansing, Director of the Finney County Convention and Visitors Bureau. And today we have before you two board members. We have one position open, filling Michael Van Vliet's seat. So that will go, this position basically will be till December. Then that person will be up to renew for their own position and then start. So those names are Sonia Taylor and Matt Cole. Sonia Taylor works at Kearney County Bank, or KCB, excuse me. And Matt Cole is a officer at the Garden City Police Department. Both of them would be extraordinary board members, so you can't possibly make a bad choice here, but we always bring you two names for one seat, so.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
With your permission, and I know I'm catching you off guard, but can you recite to us who the current board members are?
Sure.
Both hoteliers and,
Yes, we have 6 hotelier seats, and then we have 4 at-large seats. Our hotelier seats are Neil Capadilla, Steve O'Brate. Gosh, you are catching me off guard.
I apologize.
No, that's okay. You know, I wish I was a 4-H kid. I'd be better at speaking. So I've got Neil, and I'm trying to go around the table here. PJ Patel, Robin Burkamp, Jessica Wyckoff, Jill Durst, and I'm missing 2 people, Catherine Askren, and I'm sorry, I'm forgetting somebody. So if you're out there listening, my board, I apologize if I forgot who you were, but yes. This will be an at-large position.
Everybody should send Lon a greetings card on putting somebody on the spot.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
that's okay, I'll catch him later.
And I guess part of my question for asking, part of the reason for me asking is in the future for whatever board it is, not just CVB, knowing who the other board members are would help me better make a decision. So. Oh, there you go.
There we are, we're all online. Ta-da!
Mr. Chairman, we discussed this quite at length, I think, at the last CBB meeting, and my 2 cents worth is they're both very excellent, and they are doing an at-large appointment on this one, not a hotelier.
Right.
We can't go wrong, but I have great hopes that Matt would take the next appointment, so I would like to nominate Sonia Taylor as the replacement for this position.
Second.
Been moved and seconded that this board appoint Sonia Taylor. And how long is that term?
That term is until December. Michael would have gone off the board in December, and then Sonia at that point can start her own term. This will be a filling position.
And then a new term would be how many years?
There are 7 years. You have 2 3-year terms, and then you have a 1 2-year term.
So we're appointing to a 3-year term?
No, you are appointing her to finish out Michael Van Vliet's term, and then at that point she can start her own term.
Very good. Any further discussion or questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Sonia is appointed. All right, Roxanne, don't go very far. We have on our agenda an appointment to the Fair Board.
Yes, I have 2 appointments to the Fair Board. We are asking that you appoint both of these people. Emily Dradden and Kirby Dirks are both very invested in the Finney County Fair. And Kirby has served as a superintendent for a multitude of years for, I believe, the Goats. And Emily is a former 4-H'er and will be a great addition to the board just because of she's been a participant all of her life. So between her and Kirby and the growth that we've had on the board, I think we're positioning ourselves well to move into the future.
And Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
it's not the same question, but I do have a question.
Please don't ask me. There's more on that board.
No, not the names, but in the bylaws, is it 20-some?
I have 21 seats available. This will put us at 15 people.
Okay, that's where I was going. So this would get you at 15. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Motion, Commissioner Fisher.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we appoint Emily Dryden and Kirby Fryman as new board members to the Finney County Fair Board.
And what is the length of that?
For life.
Yeah.
You don't get off of the fair board, no.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Moved and seconded to appoint these designated persons to the Fair Board in the terms of their executive director for life, but we know that's not true. We thank these folks for putting their names forward and serving, and with the vote of the commission, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? They are appointed.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
I will say, Mr. Chairman, there are a few of those that had lifetime appointments and they broke their contracts over the years.
All right, next on our agenda is an interim agreement that's been hammered out by our county counselor. Ms. Shorts?
That's correct. We had done some internal work on this one with staff and with the sheriff and his people, and had sent it back over for some edits and revisions. The initial that had come over had a termination date of the original agreement for September. Rather than December 31st of 2025. This one, the version that you have in front of you reflects the changes that have been made, and you can either approve this interim agreement or not approve it and request further edits be done. It will then have to, if approved, it will then have to go to the sheriff for signature and then sent on to the city for their approval as well.
Are there any questions of the commission?
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we approve the Law Enforcement Center occupancy agreement and provide it to the sheriff for his review and approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the occupancy agreement and submit to the sheriff for his approval also. Authorize the chair to sign, part of your motion, sir?
That would be correct, I believe.
That's second.
Yes.
Yeah, it has chair, yeah, that'd be correct.
Okay, I do have a little bit of discussion. One of the things that, well, I better take that up at a different time. No, that's not about the sheriff. It's about our NDS agreement, and I think I need to be cautious in my remarks, and we'll take that up in executive session. Okay. Before the board had been moved and seconded to approve this occupancy agreement. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nay. Motion carries. Mr. Administrator, we need to move over the Grow Well Clinic contract until Kelly can get here, is that correct?
That is correct. She should be here after 9 o'clock.
All right.
We can fit her in after that.
All right, we will move directly into the fiscal year '24 adult corrections year end. And Stephanie?
Good morning, Stephanie Roush, Assistant Director of Youth Services and Community Corrections. Today I have 2 items. We are seeking signatory approval of our FY24 outcomes for adult services and youth services. Would you like me to go over one first and then the other, or how would you like me to proceed?
Your choice.
Okay. I will start with our year-end outcomes for corrections. Every year, the Kansas Department of Corrections, KDOC, asks that we submit fiscal year outcomes of how we did for the year. They're looking at how we did we reach our goals, and what are we gonna do to help improve any gaps that we found. So for FY24, our agency received a 66% success rate. So those are clients that are on probation that completed successfully and did not go to prison. For FY25, the agency has available funds to hire more intensive supervision officers, probation officers, to help get smaller caseload sizes, so those ISOs can spend more time with clients, get them assessed as needed to hopefully have a higher success rate for FY25. The states also, the judicial districts in the state have also requested that KDOC do some more training and have more training available for staff. For FY24, we also looked at reducing the amount of clients absconding from probation. For FY24, we had a total of 46 absconders from probation, meaning that they decided to stop checking in with us. So we had to file motions to the court to revoke their probation. As of the end of FY24, there were still 28 absconders out there that hadn't been found yet. Any questions for the FY24 adult outcomes?
Yeah, the rate was set at 75%. Didn't you tell me you achieved 66%?
Correct. The state looks that we achieve or maintain a 75% rate or improve from last year's, improved by 3%. We did see a decrease in our success rate. We hope with FY25, with getting some more staff on board, getting more frequent training, spending more time with those clients, that we can hopefully boost those numbers.
Questions on 24? Yes, sir.
Stephanie, do you have perhaps a report that we could read? What we got in our packet was about 200 pages of nothing. I mean, these parts of a page, have no idea what the report said.
We do have a summary available. I'm not for sure. Was it like an Excel sheet in your packet?
Would it be possible to table this until the next meeting if we could get the summary so we know what in the world we're talking about?
Yeah, I'm just echoing, the formatting in the presentation that we have online did not work very well, so, I mean, it's up to the chair as far as tabling, but.
Well, it's hard to get an approval of your proposal if they don't understand it.
Nope, I understand.
I think that we will table it
Okay,
and give everyone an opportunity to have a better understanding.
okay, we will get the summary submitted.
Appreciate that.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
And that also applies, does that apply to the youth services outcomes?
It looks like it.
Well, I don't know. I went from page 47, I'm now on page 47, you can't read. Going forward, I'm at 228, 229, 230. It's nothing.
Okay.
Same issue with the youth.
With you, okay, we apologize, we'll get the summaries.
We will
out.
table both of those items,
Okay,
and we'll take them up. Do we have time on the 21st?
These aren't times, you don't have to have these in by a deadline for,
Okay, all right, why don't we do that, and we'll take it up on the 21st.
okay, perfect, thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you. Next item up is fiscal year 2026 off-system bridge and a programming request. Mackenzie, please announce.
Good morning, Chairman and Commissioners. Mackenzie Phillips, Development Administrative Coordinator. So before you this morning, you're asked to approve and sign the programming request form to receive funding from KDOT for the federal fiscal year 2026 off-system bridge program. So the off-system bridge program is a federal program administered by the Kansas Department of Transportation, KDOT, that provides funding for the construction and construction engineering costs for the replacement or rehabilitation of eligible bridges located on roads that are not part of the federal aid system. So earlier this year, the Public Works Department did apply for this program for funding to replace the Ravenna Bridge. KDOT recently sent out notice that Finney County was awarded a total of $900,000 for the replacement of this bridge. Just to let you know as well, we've been applying for this program for quite a few years and haven't received any funding. Is either 2021 or 2022, we did apply for the other bridge program, which is the KLBIP, the Kansas Local Bridge Improvement Program. That doesn't cover 100% of the cost for construction engineering and construction like this project does, so we didn't have full funding. And so we decided, we were awarded that money, but it was at that point given back because it didn't cover the entire project. So because of that, we also, when we were awarded that, we did start the design for that bridge. So the county is responsible for any costs related to design, utility relocation, or right-of-way acquisition for this project. The design of the replacement bridge was completed earlier this year by Wilson & Company Engineering. Additional revisions might need to be made, though, to the design to comply with KDOT's bidding standards, since we did apply the first time for the other bridge funding opportunity. It did have different standards. That one's not administered by KDOT like this one is. It's done by the local agency. So with talking with them, it might be up to an additional $20,000 for any additional design revisions. That's on the high end. So the anticipated fiscal impact to the county is $35,000, which would be the $20,000 that I mentioned for any plan revisions, then $10,000 for any possible utility relocation, which at this point we don't see any need for utility relocation, but we put that in there just for any possibilities that might pop up. And then the same with the $5,000 for right-of-way. We will need to have temporary right-of-way, but we shouldn't have to acquire any additional permanent right-of-way. So those are high end for the costs. We might not have that much that we're going to be actually responsible for. So before you today, you have two alternatives. The first is the Board of County Commissioners may approve and sign the programming request form to receive funding from KDOT for the 2026 off-system bridge program, or the Board of County Commissioners may not approve and sign the programming request form to receive funding from KDOT for the 2026 off-system bridge program. And staff recommends alternative 1 to approve and sign the programming request.
Do we have any particular bridges in mind, or is this just generally?
This one's specifically for the Ravenna Bridge, Ravenna Bridge, yeah. As I mentioned, we've been trying to replace this bridge or receive funding to replace this bridge for quite a few years. It was even back when John Ellerman was our county engineer. He had been applying for it for many years, and like I said, we got that one bridge funding opportunity, but it didn't cover 100% of the cost like this one does.
Questions for the commissioners?
You said 100% of the costs?
For construction engineering and construction, up to the $900,000.
And then the county needs to come up with 96,000.
I think this is a great deal for the county. This is the third bridge since my term started in my district that we've looked at. That particular area has quite a number of bridges, and Ravenna is one that has been needed for quite some time. I think this is a fantastic opportunity.
Yes.
Therefore, I would move that we accept the programming request to receive that funding from the 2026 off-system bridge program.
Authorize the chair to sign.
Correct.
I'll second.
It's actually for all commission to sign.
Okay.
There's a spot for members, appropriately for officials.
All right, we'll all sign. Been moved and seconded to approve the project programming requests as itemized in our packets and as presented today. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Let's get our paperwork done and then we'll move on to the next agenda item.
This particular part of my district has quite a number of bridges, and seems like about every 4 years we have an opportunity to replace one of them, and I really hope that timetable can maintain.
And yet, Mr. Chairman, he said he's always needing rain up there.
Gotta justify.
They're east of me by 15 miles long.
Oh, okay. Oh, just checking.
TK can vouch for these. If you bring him back in, he'll vouch.
I'm sure he would, yeah.
Next on our agenda is agreement for a 2025 solid waste management plan update. Mackenzie?
The next one on the agenda was for the high-risk rural road construction engineering agreement. Unless you want me to do the solid waste one next, I can do that.
No, let's go in order, please.
Okay. So the Board of County Commissioners is asked to consider and approve the cost plus net fee construction engineering agreement for federal fiscal year 2024 high-risk rural road project. So on the August 5th, 2024 meeting for the Board of County Commissioners, you did approve the commitment of county funds in the amount of $44,000 to be paid out of the Road and Bridge Fund for the construction, engineering, and construction costs for the federal fiscal year 2024 high-risk rural road project. As a reminder, this project does include the following improvements to VFW Road from Maple Street to US Highway 50. And that includes the centerline rumble strips, transverse rumble strips on Railroad Avenue approaching the intersection at VFW Road, the retroreflective pavement markings on to the existing paved road, flashing beacons stop ahead and stop signs, which are solar-powered LED signs, 1-foot aggregate shoulders, and to mark or remove hazards adjacent to the roadway. The cost plus net fee construction engineering agreement is between the Kansas Department of Transportation, the construction engineer, which is Kirkham Michael, and the county to outline each party's responsibilities. If the board chooses to approve the agreement, KDOT will move forward with the notice to proceed for this project. So the alternatives before you this morning are the board may approve and sign the cost plus net fee construction engineering agreement for the 2024 high-risk rural road project, or the board may not approve and sign the cost plus net fee construction engineering agreement for the 2024 high-risk rural road project. And staff recommends alternative 1.
Questions on this project?
Now, this is the one on coming off River Road to VFW, right?
This is the one that's VFW Road from Maple going north to Highway 50.
VFW.
The one that you're thinking, I think, is Maple Street. Yeah, that's the one for 2025. This is the one that's for federal fiscal year 2024. Yeah, the one for Maple Street is the one that's currently under design. This one, the design's already been complete, and we're just getting ready for construction.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we approve and sign the cost plus net fee construction engineering agreement for the 2024, 24, high-risk rural road project, the amount being $44,000 coming out of Road and Bridge, and all commissioners signing the agreement.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the project as presented, $44,000 to be paid out of Road and Bridge. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We'll all sign, even though there's only 3 signature lines, we'll get a couple more on there. If you'll bear with us. Yeah. Sign on top. Signed down the wrong line. We wanted to leave you a full line.
Dave's the one that needs the full line.
Did I do it wrong?
No.
He's got
Your
really nice,
flamboyant signature needs the full line.
he's got really nice penmanship, is the deal.
Well, when you sign your name, make it so people can see it.
Yes, sir, John.
And read it, and read it. Can't help but throw that one in there, boss.
Is that what you did when you signed those speeding tickets?
We wanted to know who the patrolman was.
Signature and your handshake are indicative of what kind of a person you are.
Okay. Next.
So next is the agreement for the 2025 Solid Waste Management Plan update. So the Board of County Commissioners is asked to consider and approve the contract for professional engineering services with Kirkham Michael for the 2025 Solid Waste Management Plan update. The county is required to update its solid waste management plan every 5 years. The scope of this update will include changes to the solid waste management plan as specified in the 2024 guidelines provided by the Kansas Department of Health and Environment, KDHE. In addition, an effort will be made to shorten the length of the document to make the plan, make a plan that is more useful to county staff and other interested stakeholders while also retaining the needed information. Our current plan is 95 pages long, and we've been advised by our current engineering consultant that that is probably one of the longest plans they've seen out of some of the other counties they work with. So they had advised us that it would benefit us to shorten that down a little bit. Kirkham Michael has submitted a contract to provide professional engineering services for the county's solid waste management plan update at the cost of $3,500. The Solid Waste Management Committee met on June 25th, 2024 to consider Kirkham Michael's proposal and recommended selecting Kirkham Michael as the engineering consultant for the plan update. So before you this morning, you have 2 alternatives. The board may approve and authorize the county administrator to sign the contract with Kirkham Michael for the 2025 Solid Waste Management Plan update, or the Board of County Commissioners may not approve and authorize the county administrator to sign the contract with Kirkham Michael for the 2025 Solid Waste Management Plan update. And staff recommends alternative 1 to approve and authorize the county administrator to sign the contract.
$3,500 cost to be paid from the landfill's budget.
Correct.
Mr. Chairman,
Sir.
this being one of the committees I've sat on, I'll be honored to offer a motion to approve the expenditure of $3,500 and adopt alternative one.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded to approve alternative one, to approve and authorize the county administrator to sign the contract with Kirkham Michaels for the 2025 solid waste management plan update at a cost of $3,500 to be paid from the landfill's budget. Any further discussion?
And that authorizes the administrator to sign.
It does, and does second confirm?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, very good. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll hear from Kelly Munyon. We'll go back on our agenda and take up the issue of the Grow Well Clinic contract renewal. Please announce for the viewing public.
Good morning, Commissioners. Kelly Munyon, Finney County Human Resources. So this morning, the board is being asked to consider an extension to the current contract between Revere Healthcare Solutions, also known as Grow Well Clinic, and Finney County for employees, retirees, and dependents enrolled in the group medical plan for in-person clinical services, primary care, urgent care, wellness, nutritional counseling, screenings, and workers' compensation. Also with that, we would have the telemedicine-based mental health services. The in-person clinical services with RHS or Grow Well Clinic began November 1st of 2021, and the telemedicine-based mental health services were then added January 1 of 2023. Since inception, I do have some updated numbers. 7,569 visits have been delivered. Our current contract expires November 1st, 2024. Some alternatives before you are to authorize the extension of a one-year contract as was presented to you, authorize the extension of a 3-year contract as was presented, or decline the renewal of the 1 and the 3-year contracts and direct staff on an alternative for an employee clinic. Staff would recommend option 2, authorizing a 3-year extension with Grow Well Clinic, Revere Healthcare Solutions, and the fiscal impacts are shown there below. Kara has reviewed this contract from Grow Well. We've had a couple of minor changes, and I did get your email this morning, Kara, and I'll get that back over to Grow Well to make a few changes before it's presented to the board, the final copy.
Okay, do we want to table this then? Or we want to
The item says that we would authorize a 1, 2, or 3-year term. Do they need to authorize that before the contract?
Yes, they do. Recommendation would be to enter into another 3-year agreement with Grow Well.
All right. Any issues? Do we want to just do the recommendation for the 3-year renewal and then wait till we get the contract back to approve it?
Correct.
Go ahead.
What, Mr. Chairman, and my question is, what if we decide to terminate the contract within that 3-year period? What's the termination clause? I'm not anticipating that we'll be doing that, but I think that's one of our exposures.
I'll have that copy with me. Kara's.
And if we're not approving the contract today, I guess we could wait and get that answer when the contract comes back. But that would be my concern is if we had, say something happened and we ended up terminating the first year, how much do we owe?
Well, I just think that if we got some more contract details to work out, let's table it until the details are ready for review, signature, and approval.
I would be okay with that.
Will that work, Madam Counselor?
Yes.
Okay, Kelly, we'll take it back up when we have an agreement ready to sign.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Okay, back to the agenda where we left off. And unless I'm mistaken, the day for mistakes, we're at Sewer District number 3. Mia? Good morning. Please announce for the viewing public.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Mia Chitis with the Finney County Clerk's Office. Excuse me. The Board of County Commissioners is asked to consider and certify to the county clerk accounts from Sewer District Number 3 as delinquent and request said accounts to be placed on the tax roll. Resolution 14, 2024 is not ready at the time of agenda publication and will be provided at a later date. The clerk's office annually reviews delinquent accounts for Sewer District 3. Users in Sewer District Number 3 are billed annually. Bills were mailed on August 2nd of 2024 and due by September 30th. The board may place any special maintenance tax or user charge as a lien upon the property against which the levy or service charge is made from the date the levy or sewer service charge becomes due. The alternatives for Alternative 1, adopt Resolution 14, 2024, certifying to the county clerk that the attached in Exhibit A are delinquent and authorize the current balance to be placed on the tax roll for collection. Alternative 2, do not adopt the Resolution 14, 2024 and direct staff to continue current collection attempts. Staff recommends Alternative 1.
Questions?
Not a question, Mr. Chairman, but a clarification or a point of order, I guess. It makes it look bad. This is the sewer district in which I reside. It makes it look bad. I know we have to proceed with this process. But in fact, in my estimation, they aren't delinquent. The notice that went out earlier that's been referenced offers a discount if the tax or the fee is paid by September 30, I believe. But this is the full amount, the $480 for the annual fee. So yes, so many of our homeowners out there have declined the discount offer and then have allowed it to go on to their tax roll. But just an explanation. It's not anything pointing fingers at anybody because this is the process that has to be used.
Well, I think the question that I raised to the clerk was to make sure that we had adequate notice to them, and I was assured that notice had been given.
Correct.
I do not know the content of that notice, but if it was to pay early to get a discount, my question to the clerk is, does the notice say that if you don't pay by October 1st, we're going to impose these as tax lien?
I believe it does on the invoice. We actually send out an invoice with that information. So.
I can't remember, Mr. Chairman, I can't remember the exact wording, but they do understand that it's $480 if they don't pay for the discount in September. So there were a few of us who did accept that offer to pay and get the discount. Most of them did not.
Is there a penalty for the, if we carry the sewer bill, or is there, or just the original bill?
Well, this is for user charges, user fee.
Right.
And so it just goes to the operations.
Okay, but I mean, they don't pay a penalty if they don't pay it on October 1.
No, no penalty.
No,
Whenever it's due, I don't.
Right, it's part of their tax bill then when the taxes come due.
And just to clarify, I pulled up a copy of the invoice, and it says that a 10% discount is applied to payments that are received on or before September 30th. Fees not paid by the due date will be added to the 2024 tax roll at the undiscounted rate.
Right, which it's the word delinquent that troubles me, but I know that's the process because it makes it look like the sewer district has a lot of delinquent people, but not necessarily unless they don't pay their taxes in a timely fashion later on.
That was my concern. And I don't have a solution to the procedure at this point, but I think the resolution is the correct next step in order to be able to collect the fees for the district.
Correct.
Is there a motion to adopt Resolution 14-2024, authorize the chairman to sign as Exhibit A?
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to pass Resolution 14-2024. This will be assessing these amounts to the tax rolls for the people therein indicated. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I want to
Do you
visit
have
with
that
Matt.
resolution?
I want to visit with Matt. Just
Thanks, Mia.
Need everybody to sign this.
Go ahead and send that, sign that while we're waiting.
We get it back.
All to sign it?
Everybody. That's the amended budget from earlier.
Do what with it?
That's the amended budget from earlier.
Which we're gonna discuss here in a minute. Need this signed. Okay.
All right, next on our agenda is the 2025 annual budget certification. Jenny?
Jenny Hamill, Assistant County Administrator and Finance Director. The board is asked to authorize the chair to sign Form JA 100 certifying the 25th Judicial District funding as adopted in the 2025 budgeting process. This is just their formal form that they submit to the state, and it has been adjusted to reduce the $25,000 that you all removed from their budget prior to approving. There was also an adjustment to their 2023 expenditures. They were off just $100 and some, and I believe it was from the prior year. It was caught in 22, but in 23 on their records. So those two adjustments were made to this. Your alternatives are to authorize the chair to sign Form JA 100 certifying the 25th Judicial District funding as adopted in the 2025 Finney County budget, or decline to authorize. Staff recommends alternative 1. Any questions?
I agree. Motion to authorize the chair to sign JA 100.
I'll offer the motion, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve I have the chair to sign Form JA-100 certifying the 25th Judicial District funding as adopted in our budget. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I'll sign it. Did you want to vote on that funding or just be absent?
I would have been a yay or a, but no, it didn't matter.
Tell me how you want the record to reflect.
Well, the record can reflect that I voted for it.
Madam Clerk, Commissioner Pishney voted for signature of the JA 100.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
Appreciate it.
I would say that remember the 25,000 that we took out was they were wanting to fund mediation with public ad valorem tax dollars, and our law library board funds that with use dollars at $25,000, saving the taxpayers that money, and uses revenue created by the use of the courts to help pay for mediations. this is a win for the local taxpayers. Next, Jenny.
The next item is the agreement for Southwest Developmental Services Incorporated for funding as adopted in the 2025 Finney County budget process. This is just their annual agreement that states how much we funded them and what we agreed, what they agree to provide for us. Alternatives is that authorize the chair to sign the agreement for services with Southwest Developmental Services Incorporated for funding as adopted in the 2025 Finney County budget, or decline to authorize. Staff recommends alternative 1.
Questions or motion?
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we authorize you to sign the agreement for services with SDSI for 2025.
Second.
Moved and seconded to sign the agreement for SDSI for funding as adopted in the 2025 budget. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I'll sign. And last on our business agenda, Jenny, the Russell Child Development Services.
This is the 2025 agreement for services with Russell Child Development Center for funding as adopted in the 2025 Finney County budget process. This is their annual agreement stating that we will pay a sum and they will provide the services for the county. Alternatives are to authorize the chair to sign the agreement for services with Russell Child Development Center for funding as adopted in the 2025 Finney County budget, or decline to authorize the chair. Staff recommends alternative 1.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we authorize you to sign the agreement with Russell Child.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to authorize the chair to sign the agreement for services with RCDC for funding as adopted in the 2025 Finney County budget. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. I'll sign.
Thank you.
This one?
Turning next to our staff reports, we'll hear a development update from Mackenzie.
Good morning again, Chairman and Commissioners. Mackenzie Phillips, Development Administrative Coordinator. So this morning I have a few updates for you. Last week, myself, Kaylee Jones, our Public Works Operations Coordinator, and our engineer went out to Randall Estates for a follow-up inspection. And we found that the improvements are in the updates that they needed to make still were adequate. And what we're going to do now is we're going to be sending out our staff to go out and install signs. Once the signs are installed, we'll do one more inspection and then bring it before the board to accept the infrastructure. So we're almost there. It'll probably be within the next couple meetings that you'll see that before you.
I'd like to get that wrapped up if we can, Mackenzie.
Yep, we're almost there. Then Country Acres, we met with them, I think 2 weeks ago to go over some improvements that still need to be made. There's a lot of, with the rain that we got this summer, there's a lot of issues with erosion control, and so there's some areas that need to be fixed, and then once those are fixed, again, we will go out and install the signs, and then we should be able to have that before you as well. So that one's gonna take a little longer than Randall Estates, but it's on its way as well.
Okay, and a reasonable timeline for completion?
That's gonna depend on the contractor. I think he's still in town. I don't think he went back up to Alaska, but if he's still in town, then I'll check with him to see what his schedule looks like and an anticipated date for that.
All right. If you could bring a proposed completion date back, that would help.
I could do that.
Better understand what's going on.
That's all I have for you.
Okay, any other questions for the development update?
Mackenzie, this isn't a development update question, but I had a phone call on striping, when we're gonna paint striping.
We have bids going out, I think it's this week. And then once we receive those bids, it's budgeted for, and so it falls in that category that if we do receive at least 2 bids, we don't have to bring it before the board and we can get them out striping. But if we only receive 1, like in past years, it'll take a little longer.
They're complaining about the road between Holcomb and Garden, you know, since they resurfaced or finished it, it's done with the striping, and at night when you're in a rainstorm, it's a little hard to see the.
Yeah. Yep, we sent that off to the Telegram last week, so it should be published this week.
Okay.
And then we have to wait 1 week before opening.
If I get any more calls, I'll tell them it's on the way.
Sounds good.
Very good. Anything else? Thank you, Mackenzie.
Thank you.
County Administrator's report, sir?
Yes, sir, just a few items, updates. Sewer modernization project continues on. We're about at 50% on that, about halfway on that. We also have scheduled now a weekly update on progress, so we could keep that moving, hopefully get everything buttoned up by the end of the year. Creation of the Sewer District 4 still in progress, as well as working on the fee structure for your approval before the end of this year. Health Department EMS project, we do meet this Tuesday on it. Should have 50% design completion, and with updated estimates for budget purposes on that. Once I get that, we will go ahead and provide to the commission, probably the first meeting in November, the anticipated transfers for funding on that. LEC update, Sean from HMN has provided the user groups with preliminary program drafts and numbers for them to review. Once reviewed, he'll start providing, calculating what an anticipated project cost might look like based upon that program. I would anticipate that would, we may have the final results probably by the end of this month, end of October. So sometime in November, then he'll meet with the commission and kind of run through that. Just a reminder for the day, we have a tour approximately 1 o'clock, and that is for the Fire Department EMS facility. Did attend a KLPG on Thursday afternoon in Liberal. Update on 83 Highway KDOT agreement. We should have a draft of that by mid-November. Courthouse elevator, October 15th. Contractors will be here to do some final testing and inspection. Hopefully we'll get that up and running following that. The 4 buildings that have this HVAC system in it that's being reviewed by integrated consulting engineers, that is in process. Anticipate a report by late this month or the first part of November to provide you with some options on that. Treasurer's remodel is out for bid. And That is what I have for you at this point in time.
Okay. One of the things that sparked my interest is you have a building meeting on Tuesday of next week. Is that right?
Tuesday of this week, correct.
Tuesday of this week, excuse me. And we have some upcoming changes in the composition of the commission. And your comment, is that committee functioning well?
Yes, yeah, quite well.
I think that it's important that we have continuity to that, and Commissioner Dries, although his term of office will be up in January, has agreed to go ahead and chair that committee, and will appoint another commissioner to be a member of that committee, but I'll appoint soon-to-be former Commissioner Dries as chair of that committee to continue with the construction of the EMS county health building and with the LEC or other remodel or construction. So your committee's gonna get one bigger, I guess is where we're getting to. It'll still be manageable at that rate, will it not?
Absolutely.
All right, very good. Dwayne, I wanted to say thank you for agreeing to serve and seeing those things through as chairing that committee. It's important work that we get this right. This is a huge project for all of us, and certainly the EMS and county health building. I'm sure you'd like to see that one done during your tenure here.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate that appointment. Would like to finish this. It's been put some time in it, and it's very important to me, so I appreciate that.
Thank you very much. Anything else, sir?
That is it.
Any other questions for the administrator from the commission? Hearing none, go on to the county councilor's report.
I did have a board meeting for the County Councilors Association of Kansas, just working on finalizing the agenda for the December CLE, which will take place at the same time as the Kansas Association of Counties meeting up in Wichita. Also worked on sending off the information to the treasurer to double check the information that I have within the petition as far as tax IDs, legal descriptions, amounts still owed at this point in time on the, we're now down to 18 properties left from the original 42 when we started this process. The remainder of those have paid and been able to redeem those properties. So we are down to those 18 now. It is of note that even though there's only 18 properties, if I counted right, there's approximately 79 people or entities. Some of those include state of Kansas, United States, delinquent tax, city of Garden City, at least one property. The owner of record, I believe, has been deceased since 1957, so it's gone through quite a bit as far as who all the actual owners are at this point in time. So as far as I've got that one narrowed down, it's not real narrow. So really just working on getting the final. I'll have to update the numbers again from the treasurer's office on the date that we're ready to file. So I'll try to get those of a morning and then get those filed by the end of that day. I did send you all the working list that had the updated numbers as far as what's owed as of today, if I understood the treasurer's comments on that email correctly. So you should have the updated numbers on what we're looking at as far as what's owed at this point in time. And then we do have a little few down in the agenda. We do have an executive session on for
Correct,
today.
but when it comes to the tax sale, the spreadsheet that you sent me, I could not expand it to get the full names of the defendants on the properties, and I would ask for you to get that list to us and proceed to file. Maybe it's just me that couldn't get it to open, but
You're the, yeah.
I can get the one name, but I couldn't get all of it.
think it's just technical difficulties in expanding it.
Technical is not a real good word for me. It's a computer.
Well, user error.
Thank you. It's the day of errors, so we'll just continue.
Mr. Chairman, I do have a question for Counselor about the tax sale. Help me and help the listening audience and everybody else. Once that's published, you had talked about getting the final numbers, publishing that afternoon and so forth. What's the time frame between that or does it have to be published several times, or what's the process once you publish until we get to the tax sale date?
That's not about a publication there. That's about the numbers to put in the petition.
Okay.
Because I want to have the updated numbers in the petition as far as what's owed at the time of the filing of the petition. And then after that point, get the petition filed, and we're going to have to get those defendants served for that. And so it just the process of getting that done at this point. Although most of them should be aware it's coming because they've all gotten letters, or those that I had addresses for. And then there's some, I did have one, there's one mortgage that was filed on a property back in 1986, from the best I can tell. Looking at it, it looks like that bank maybe hasn't been in existence since 1990. So there's just some nuances and issues there, and figuring out if I'm gonna need to publish down in that Texas city where that bank used to exist, or at least as far as I can tell, that's the bank that it is, but there's not a lot of information.
Well, I guess the bottom line, and I appreciate it explaining all that, but the bottom line, I had the question asked of me just this morning, when the tax sale date would be. So when are we able to set that tax sale date? What has to be completed before we set a date?
I'm gonna need to get service completed before we can get that date figured out.
Okay. So we're thinking another couple months?
At least.
Probably?
At least.
Yeah, okay. I was asked this morning, I'm just trying to.
Petitions for foreclosure of the tax warrants is itself a civil lawsuit. It has all the characters of the right to answer and defend. So, no, it's not going to be within the first 2 months, absent miraculous work and consent and agreement of 18 to 79 defendants.
Okay.
Quick question, what is the percentage on the penalty? What do they have to pay for non-payment?
There are penalties and interest on each of these, and I couldn't, that would be a question for the treasurer better than for myself, probably.
I was curious what the interest rate was, your son.
There was a dollar amount in that spreadsheet of what they owe, but I don't know what the percentage is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'll ask the treasurer next time I see her.
Okay, we'll go on to, we'll circle back to the executive session. Let's go to board governance, upcoming meetings and events, and please reiterate voting.
Okay, we have a registration deadline for the November election coming up on October 15th. Mail ballots will go out on October 16th. Early voting will begin on October 21st. Early voting takes place here in this building, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. We will have a late night and a Saturday vote as well.
Any other upcoming events or meetings on our agenda other than the regular agenda or scheduled meetings?
No, nothing specifically new was added. I do not have showcase dates yet, so those have not been added to the community events.
I'll circle back so they get in touch with you to get those on our calendar.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Commissioner reports. Let's go left to right. Commissioner Jones?
Which one?
Left to right, sir.
I'm giving it a bad time. I don't have much, Mr. Chairman. Went to TK Winter's retirement. That was well done. We need to commend the straw boss down there for doing a good job getting the hamburgers and hot dogs ready, and the county shop never looked better. It had all kinds of food and a good crowd. That, and the only other meeting that I had was the library board. It was rather typical board meeting and not much to discuss. So I think that's it.
Mr. Dries?
Several things. I too went to TK's deal. I think I was the last one to come in. I was busy planting wheat that day. But it's good to shake his hand and give him an attaboy. As mentioned earlier, we had a CV meeting. We talked about that. Great Plains Development as well. I believe we visited about that earlier in the meeting. I did take a phone call from one of our senior citizens about our property tax, and it's a very heartbreaking experience. Her 85 years old, living on Social Security. Her pensions have already used up and that kind of stuff, and paying $5,000 a year on her home, property taxes. So it's a very touching subject. Adam Smith at our KLPG meeting, we talked about that at length, and this is a statewide issue. Property taxes just keep going up for everybody. And Adam, we spent quite a bit of time with that with Adam Smith. He's got 4 or 5 options he's trying to come up with. This is definitely a state issue. It's nothing we as county commissioners have any authority over. But for the senior citizens out there, I feel your pain, and at the state level, they are recognizing that and attempting to come up with some kind of solution. But unfortunately, inflation is hitting every community. And go to Johnson County, for example, and their homes have really skyrocketed in valuation, and it's definitely an issue for their senior citizens. But enough said on that issue, but it's a going issue for our senior citizens, and it's very concerning.
Commissioner Pishney, thank you, sir.
Well, I've attended a few meetings, but nothing came out of them, like, for example, the chamber breakfast and so forth that needs to be brought up here. I also did go to TK's retirement thing, and we appreciate longtime county employees, no matter what division or what department they represent, and the dedication and the time they spend providing county services. And TK is just simply one of those examples. And then several meetings coming up, and I was starting to look at my calendar. I got one this week with regard to electric rates. I've had one with regard to water rates, and then we get things about property tax. And so there's a lot of things that affect the region, and I'll be going to some of those meetings yet this fall and bring back what I can from those meetings. Thank you.
Commissioner Jones.
The main meeting I attended was KLPG and Liberal, which was very well attended on both days. And Friday, there's a lot of attendees. It was interesting, just to tag on what Commissioner Dries said, we talked at length on property taxes and expressed to the legislators that were there that either quit talking about how much money the state has in reserves or do something about property tax relief. And so it was, I thought we kind of made our point, hopefully. And then we got on the founding of KLPG. It was founded in 85, is that correct? I think so. In 1985. And one of the founding members that had signed the agreement to start KLPG was there in attendance. And it was interesting. It started because of the severance tax issue in Topeka, and I talked to him at length and said probably our next big hurdle will be water and not severance taxes. And so they're going to redo their political platform, and they'll have it out after we have our winter meeting in January. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be reference in there to the water issue. Also, on the chairman's favorite topic of tax, I don't know, revenue neutral, I guess would be R&R. Oh, we discussed that a little bit, and I think we decided to try to put something in the platform about all expenses in regards to R&R, not only the publication expense, but also the clerk's time and staff time that goes into developing and putting those issues out need to be covered by the state instead of just postage only. And so hopefully if we keep charging them enough money, they'll do something about it. Other than that, that's it.
You know, go ahead.
I'd add one thing. One of the original signatures on the charter was Martin Hushka, one of our commissioners from the past. So Finney County's been involved from day one.
Day one, yeah. Also, should have mentioned that we redid the membership fees and raised it to $750. But the way the formula works out, Finney County actually our annual fee is going to go down a couple $100. So it really didn't change any of the counties a big deal, but a little bit.
Well, once again, I also appreciate you agreeing to chair on the leadership conference on that issue that's important. On October 8th, Congressman Tracy Mann will be here in Garden City, as will Senate President Ty Masterson and Speaker Dan Hawkins, and they were in Garden City last year before the session. And we talked about ad valorem tax relief, and it got to the end of the year and it didn't happen. So I think the consensus of this commission is that when we have an opportunity to bend those folks' ear, when they're here in person, we'll remind them of what they said last year, and what didn't happen, and what should happen. And since we're sending one of our own, Commissioner Finney, to be the newest rookie in the House of Representatives, I'm certain that the Speaker of the House, Mr. Hawkins, will want to have your ear, sir, on the issue of ad valorem tax relief from the state invading 21.5 mills from every person's home here in Finney County. They also tax us on income tax and also all the other registration and other taxes that the states collect. But for home ownership, they hit us again for 21.5 mills. That is an opinion, but I think that on the issue of net revenue neutral, it'll just take one person's ability to stand up and say, let's repeal this. We're tired of spending $15 million the state has spent thus far in the 4 years of existence of that crazy and nonsensical piece of legislation, that we could return to some sense of normalcy in budgeting without regard to somebody's whim as to what is net revenue neutral.
One of the questions I asked the legislators, I said, can you identify any savings that have come from revenue neutral by a taxpayer? And I didn't get a response from any of them.
Well, I think this is our opportunity to, they're going to be here. Let's make sure they understand where we're at. And of course, you know, gentlemen, with 5 votes, and they have several other thousand voters here in Finney County. I will not be attending this month's Compass meeting. I have an appointment with the Kansas City Chiefs playing the Raiders. I know that's not near as important, but I'll ask for your indulgence and have a report for you next month. The nice thing that where we're at is the budget issues are gone, but our building and construction needs in Finney County continue to be pressing items. And the 50% completion and project plans for the EMS building and county health building will be issues that we are trying to fund without any indebtedness to the taxpayers or the Board of County Commissioners. And that is a $12-13 million project. That's a big deal and a big accomplishment for this commission, for the administrator and those people that have brought this building into its fruition, and Commissioner Drees is going to see it completed. With that, we need to have an executive session. Who needs to attend? Ms. Schartz?
The administrator, the assistant administrator, myself, and Mackenzie Phillips.
Motion for executive session as described.
And about how long, Mr. Chairman?
15 minutes.
And right after a break.
Yes, sir.
I would move that we go into executive session with our, for attorney-client information, and have the counselor, our administrator, assistant administrator, and Mackenzie Phillips, our planner, in attendance for up to 15 minutes,
Commencing at 10:15.
whatever you designate.
All right. Is there a second?
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Go into executive session at 10:15 for 15 minutes with the people so attended. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We'll be in recess until 10:15 for the commencement of the executive session. to resume back to regular session and out of executive session.
I so move.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I'll confirm that no action was taken during the time of the executive action. With regard to the NDS interlocal cooperative agreement, need a motion to approve the interlocal cooperative agreement as presented by the county councilor with a date of effective date of January 1st, 2025, that we ask the city, subject to approval of the last few requested changes, to delay implementation of the agreement to July 1, 2025, to meet the needs of our employment issues. We don't have all the employees on board to be ready to begin on 1/1 of '25, and be asking the city to delay the implementation date to July 1 of 2025. Is there such a motion?
So move, Mr. Chairman. Let me say that again. So move, Mr. Chairman.
And I'll second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the interlocal agreement between the city and the county on the NDS for a contract date of January 1st of 2025, to request the city to accept the final minor changes as proposed by the county councilor, but to delay implementation of the agreement to July 1st of 2025. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have, today, we have the 140th anniversary reception commencing at 11 o'clock. At 1 o'clock today, we're going to tour the fire department and EMS walkthrough, correct? And I don't know whether Commissioner Drees is going to be able to make the walkthrough.
I will not.
And wish you well with harvest. Good luck with that and be safe. Is there any other business before the commission at this time?
I'll offer the motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Commissioner Drees.
Second.
Moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We are adjourned.